Welcome, guys, to the bootleg studios of Rant Roller Sports. Those of you been here before, welcome back. I appreciate a few of viewers recently giving me a couple of comments on a couple of videos. That always helps inspire me to make more videos. Whether you agree or disagree with my content, it doesn't matter. We're adults. We can agree or disagree. But anyway, if you've read the caption of the video that I haven't done yet, top five NBA, top five NBA athletes. And I'm going to emphasize top five NBA star athletes. Because you have role players that have jumped out the gym or been hella strong or explosive, but for whatever reason in their NBA career, they never turned the corner and became a star or a superstar. But I'm not even going to relegate this to superstar status. I'm going to say a star player, right? So, who are you looking at here? None other than the great Derrick Concrete Rose. Born and raised in Chicago, then became the number one pick. I forgot what year in the draft for the Chicago Bulls. Before his knee injury, Derrick Rose was one of the most explosive players I had ever seen in my life. I thought Isaiah Thomas was fast growing up. Tim Hardaway, not to be confused with Tim Hardaway Jr., his father. I thought he was pretty quick growing up. I thought KJ, Kevin Johnson, was pretty fast, right? AI, I thought he was incredibly fast. But then came Derrick Rose. And I mean, off the dribble, damn near looking just as fast as he is without the ball. I had never seen anybody from end to end be as fast as Derrick Rose with the dribble. He showed extreme dexterity in the air, body control, power, explosiveness, and unrivaled speed on the basketball court. I've never seen a man faster than Derrick Rose before the knee injury he suffered in the playoffs, I believe, against the Philadelphia 76ers. I give Derrick Rose the nod over Russell Westbrook because Derrick Rose used his athleticism on both ends of the court, or at both ends of the court, whereas Russell Westbrook is a one-way player, offensive-minded only. But Derrick Rose was phenomenal, phenomenally fast, phenomenally strong for the point guard position, and played a lot bigger than his 6'2" frame. His athleticism before the knee injury rivaled a prime LeBron James. I believe Derrick Rose was the youngest player to win MVP. I'm not sure about that. But he was, if not the youngest, one of the youngest. And they don't give out MVP awards to people that they don't believe are going to be Hall of Famers. Like I said before, he suffered a catastrophic knee injury that took away about a good 30% of this athleticism that you see here. Maybe 25%. But he was one of the most incredible athletes to ever play the game. So we're going to come off of Derrick Rose at number 5. And I already mentioned him before. And I know you guys have seen this guy's highlights all over the place. But nevertheless, I can't have a top 5 most athletic NBA star or stars without putting in LeBron James. LeBron James came out of high school 6'8", 240 pounds, and came out of the high school one of the most athletic players the NBA has ever seen. Imagine Karl Malone with the speed of Jason Kidd and the jumping ability of Vince Carter. And then you would have LeBron James. But there's a lot of LeBron haters that can't stand him, so I'm not going to torture you too much with LeBron highlights, okay? And let me go to my third guy here. Right? I don't really have no particular order with this, guys. No particular order, but I have to put this guy in. Excuse me as I had a quick brain freeze. The great Vince Carter.
He does something every day, and he did it again tonight. If you look up at the backboard, about 11 and a half feet up there, you see 3 fingerprints. That was his left hand as he put his right hand on the top as if he was taking a quarter off that backboard, then looked over the section's bench and said, "Watch out."
Vince Carter is one of the most explosive players I've ever seen. As far as pure ferocity off the bounce, I've never seen anything like him. Jordan was pretty much the closest one, maybe Dominique Wilkins. Some would say Clyde Drexler. You can maybe throw Tracy McGrady in there. But Vince Carter was something else. Most agree that he's the greatest dunker in NBA history. And that still goes for today. And he was in his prime 15 years ago. Vince Carter's done some things where you question what type of shoes he had on. You question, did he have some type of gravity vest or something underneath that jersey? They called him half man, half amazing. They called him Vinsanity. At the time, at one point in time, Vince Carter was equally yoked with Kobe Bryant as far as who people considered that next dude. Kobe and Vince were neck and neck before Vince's knees started giving him trouble. Because he just wasn't a dunker. He had a great jump shot, above average post game, and he was no slouch defensively either. So that's Vince Carter. So we have Derrick Rose, LeBron James, Vince Carter. And of course, I just did a video about this guy. But I have to mention him. The great Michael Jordan. Many people consider him the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Some guys that viewed basketball from a different era don't believe that. They may think Wilt or Kareem is the greatest of all time, or even Bill Russell. The problem with those arguments when you go back to those guys is just their footage. We just don't have good footage of those guys. And this is why I'm going to exclude a couple of guys off of this top 5 list for that reason alone. And I'm going to speak about it at the end of the video. But yeah, everybody knows MJ. So we don't have to tarry watching all his amazing highlights. Right? So that's Derrick Rose, LeBron James, Vince Carter, Michael Jordan, and my number 5, which might surprise some of you. That's right. The great, legendary Shaquille O'Neal. Drafted by the Orlando Magic. Proceeded to sign with the Los Angeles Lakers as a free agent. After about 4 years with Orlando, he was dominant from the very beginning. Breaking backboards, tearing down rims. Physically stronger than anybody else in the era that he played in by far. It was nobody even close. And not only was he physically stronger, he had a underrated vertical coming out of college. I think he almost had a 40-inch vertical coming out of college. Most people don't realize that. And not only was he stronger than everybody else, he was, for the most part, quicker than every other center, with the exception of maybe Olajuwon and David Robinson. And in his prime, he might have been just as quick as those guys. Or maybe even a tad quicker. People don't give Shaq credit for his amazing quickness in the paint, his spin moves, and physical dexterity to go along with his brute strength and size. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of you guys from the old school crying and screaming that how can I have a top 5 most athletic NBA star list and not include the great, wait for it, why? Because the highlights are not the greatest. But here we go, honorable mention. And he would make this top 5 list naturally. But let's see how great some highlights of his are.
Rightfully so. That he was the greatest basketball player that ever lived. Physically, he was still the most imposing physical player that's ever played this league, period. There's no one that's come close to him in terms of just physical prowess.
As athletic as any man who ever walked the earth. You try guarding that on a basketball court sometime.
There you go. That's the great Bill Russell talking about him, the most winning player in NBA history.
And his physical prowess was unbelievable.
He's going to the basket.
They added color to these black and white highlights, so hopefully they can show how athletic he was.
Great defensive work, tremendous ball handling, and a tremendous demonstration of speed and ability.
And I don't even think Wilt Chamberlain was going 100%.
For people to fathom what we talk
because he was just so physically above and beyond the competition. He didn't have to go 100%.
When I would talk about it, people say, no, he couldn't have done that. And I'm telling you, he was just a great, great basketball player.
Here comes Boston, but Chamberlain keeps the pressure on. Wilt rebounds for a fast break. For the Eastern All-Stars as Wilt Chamberlain comes up with another rebound. the opposition.
There you have it. That's my top 5 list. Shaquille O'Neal, Michael Jordan, Vince Carter, Derrick Rose, and LeBron James. Now, that's just the guys that I've seen that popped out to me viewing basketball physically, that they were physically the most dominant player athletically during their time. I believe Jordan was, even though Dominique Wilkins and Clyde Drexler were close. I believe that probably Dr. J was the most athletic player in his era, right? We know that Will Chamberlain and Bill Russell were the most athletic players, along with the great Elgin Baylor in their era. But to find great Elgin Baylor highlights, probably not likely. It's the same thing with Bill Russell. His highlights are okay, but these are honorable mentions, along with the great Clyde Drexler. And I'll even say Charles Barkley as an honorable mention, but this is a top 5. So there you have it. I might come back with a top 10. I know you guys are going to get in the comment section and argue, oh, you left this guy out, you left this guy out. Well, you guys give me your top 5 most athletic NBA stars. Okay? The key word is they have to be a star. This is the Bootleg Studios of Rant Roller Sports. Peace.